Environmental management and monitoring are core responsibilities the Urban Development Corporation UDC carries out in protected areas in Negril, Ocho Rios, Montego Bay, Hellshire Hills, part of Portland Bight, Port Royal, and Palisadoes. As such, the corporation is committed to mitigating negative impacts on our natural resources through monitoring and enforcement by 6 environmental protection officers.
When we speak about natural resources, the simplest thing to think about is the environment and everything that it entails. So the plants, the animals, we're looking at the soil, the water, all different aspects of it that all interrelate, and also how the people interact with it.
To reinforce its conservation measures, the UDC carries out sound environmental planning and monitoring, management of protected areas, as well as environmental education and outreach programs.
So we carry out monitoring either on a monthly or a quarterly basis. This gives us an idea of what the impact of anything that we're doing to the natural resources.
Some of these interventions involve bringing internal and external stakeholders together to carry out various activities to commemorate days that bring awareness to different areas of the environment.
Our largest activity to date has been International Coastal Cleanup Day. We have it in Hellshire, and we did collect a substantial amount of plastics and other garbage.
The conservation program is also extended to the critically endangered sea turtles.
So in St. Anne's in particular, we have started a program of monitoring the nests, seeing when they occur, ensuring that they're safeguarded while they are there, and then enable the hatchlings to be able to return to sea. So far, in the last 3 years, we've had a very successful program. We've had over 2,000 hawkbill turtles returning to the sea.
A similar program is being carried out with the Jamaican iguana, another endangered species that is found in the Hellshire Hills area.
Young hatchlings are carried to the Hope Zoo, which they are nurtured until they get to a certain size and weight, and then they are returned to the wild. This is supposed to give them a competitive advantage against predators.
And did you know?
At the Green Grotto Caves, we actually have 11 out of the 21 species of bat that are found in Jamaica. So what we do is monitor the caves to ensure that the habitat is safe and suitable for the bats.
We also monitor to see what's going on with the crocodile. So for now, we look at the nest, we also look at the birds that are around, and to see how everybody is doing. So it's like we have a big ecosystem.
NEPA delegated the UDC with management authority over the Hellshire Hills in 1999, so that's another way in which we collaborate, and most recently an MOU to develop the Goat Islands.
Since then, the corporation has been working with stakeholders and other users of the area to carefully balance the development of urban settlements with the delicate ecology of the area.
For our non-governmental partners, one of our major partners is CCAM, which is the Caribbean Coastal Area Management Foundation. And with them, we partner in managing the Portland Bight area, which is the largest protected area in Jamaica.
I'd urge persons who are visiting and living within the boundaries of the protected area to not dispose of their garbage in irresponsible ways, because they eventually get to the marine environment.
The corporation ensures that it remains compliant with national and international environmental policies, legislations, and regulations by conducting monthly and quarterly checks of all its facilities and attractions. This is to ensure that these facilities are constantly at the required standard for safe use by patrons.
So the UDC also sits on the Beaches Control Committee, as well as the National Council of Ocean and Coastal Zone Management Committee, both of which are responsible for creating national policies relating to the conservation of the coastal zone across Jamaica.
The Urban Development Corporation, achieving sustainable development within the corporation's designated areas by creating a balance between development and management of natural resources. A prime example is the soon-to-be implemented Goat Island Wildlife Sanctuary. To learn more about the work of the Urban Development Corporation, call 876-656-8031 or visit their website at udcja.com. You may also follow them on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, or visit their information center on the ground floor, Kingston Mall, downtown Kingston.
Hi, good evening, viewers. I'm Andrew Gordon. Welcome to Fort Charles. fort is built in 1656, but it was first named Fort Cromwell. In that time period, it only had 36 guns when the Spanish were in rulership of Jamaica in the 16th century. However, in the 17th century, when the English came and took over from the Spanish, they then captured the fort, resized it, brought in more guns, so it moved from 36 guns to 104 guns, as well as they brought in soldiers that mounted to over 500. Here at Fort Charles, we have a quarterdeck area called Nelson's Quarterdeck. We have two museums that's back this side called Horatio Quarters. We had some various points, however, the major tower that's back that side, sailors would go up there, use their telescopes to see enemy ships out at sea. We also have a famous grog shop that's on back that side. The first half was used to store ammunition for the 36 guns that were here in Fort Charles, and the other half was used as a jail cell to store misbehaving sailors. Where we are now is the Nelson's Quarterdeck. We can get a clear view as to where another fortification like Fort Charles named Fort James, where the famous Louis Galdey was a Frenchman. When Mr. Henry Morgan was in rulership here at Fort Charles, he was in rulership there at Fort James. Mr. Louis Galdey, a famous Frenchman. During the time of the 1692 earthquake, he was swallowed up by that earthquake and then spat out into the ocean on that side. However, he survived with just a few scars. He lived to tell the tale, but after that incident, he quickly finds religion. Coming to Fort Charles now, on your left, you pass a church. It's called St. Peter's Church. It was built by Mr. Louis Galdey and the famous James Clark in the year 1726. What the sailors would do is look there, use their binoculars as well as telescopes to view enemy ships out at sea, that's on that side, as well as to get a view of the Kingston Harbour. So that was what it's used for in that time period. So here where we are now, you will see a tree, a big large tree. It's called a guango tree. This guango tree is over 250 years old. Yes, it was here during the time period of the earthquake of 1692, as well as when Mr. Horatio Nelson, who was in rulership here at Fort Charles, yes, in 1777, he was only 18 years of age. And the first museum here, this was his home in 1777, and the other museum that's here was his working office. So, however, now on this side, we have a famous grog shop. It's called an Admiral's Grog Shop. Yes, on the grog shop you would see a plaque, a billboard. It's saying, "You who tread his footsteps, you who tread his footsteps, remember his glory." That's the motto of Mr. Horatio Nelson. Those were called wine desks and chairs. Those were used sitting on as well as for eating. Yes, but they were used to store wine as well, because the sailors in those days loved rum, and rum was used as water. Yes, like how we use water today in the 21st century. Yes, that was used for wine in those centuries by the sailors who were here in Port Royal. Yes, here where we are is called the corner point of the fort. Yes, and we normally carry visitors this section to show them that Fort Charles was built in the shape of a ship, as you can see here. This where we are now is the bow section. Yes, it shapes as a bow, so it was built as a ship. Reason being for that is to trick enemy ships out at sea. So when ships were out at sea planning to load here at Fort Charles, they would get an impression as if they were fighting or battling against a ship, when it's a well, firmly built fort. It was just built in the shape of a ship to trick enemy ships out at sea. That's the trick of Fort Charles.